Welcome back to Crochet by Night. It's time for bedtime yarn tales. In the wacky world of YouTube, we get an opportunity to meet some real interesting characters. And tonight's interview, well, that's just one of those. Granny Dee, she is quite the character, but she also opens up and gives us a look at her life's journey of where she was, where she is, and where she's going. She's also quite the trooper. Oh yeah, we filmed this a few days ago, and what happens? And the technology failed. So she graciously offered to redo this interview. Hey, Granny Dee, welcome back. Gotta unmute.
There we go.
There you are. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome, honey.
I am so sorry.
Listen, I just figure it was divine intervention, and I was so aggravated with myself because I couldn't remember that scripture that I always pray before I go on. Let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, my Lord and my Redeemer. That's what I pray before I go.
Oh my goodness, that is wonderful. That is wonderful. So
I couldn't remember it yesterday, so I said, you know what? There's always a reason for
there is. Do you know I've not had technology fail me in this way since I started?
We did have such a good convo yesterday, but hey, maybe today will be even better. At least I remembered that scripture.
Well, and when I did it the other day, I was at work. It was my lunchtime, and so I was on my laptop. Now I'm home, and it is snowing in Oklahoma for the first time in forever. I can't believe it.
You know, on my live a while ago that I totally forgot about when I first scheduled the time for today. But several of my subscribers said, we're getting snow here, we're getting snow. Now, I couldn't tell you where all they were because, you know, they're from here, there, and everywhere.
Right.
But maybe you're more relaxed today that you're home and not at work.
All right. Well, I'm going to jump right in, if you don't mind, and just start asking you some questions. So the name of your YouTube channel is Knit, Purl, and Squirrel. So will you tell me a little bit about how you got started knitting and how you got started crocheting?
Okay. Well, first of all, the name, which you asked me the other time, Knit, Purl, and Squirrel, with Granny Dee. I was already Granny Dee to my grandchildren, and the mother to those grandchildren. My eldest daughter came up with the name. I first came on when I started my channel was just Dee Thompson because I was everybody's number one, not everybody's, but all the people that I went to, which was a lot. Seta being one of them, Seta's place. And she's the one that really encouraged me to start my channel. But, you know, people knew me as Dee Thompson, and, you know, other subscribers, other podcasters. So I felt like I should start out my channel with that at least. And I already had 103 or 4 subscribers, which is not uncommon. Now people start with 1K sometimes. We just do that. We subscribe to each other, whether they've got their own content or not, but that gives them a head start to begin with. See, I'm squirreling already. The squirrel, my daughter knows how ADD I am, and I'm like here, there, and but how I started knitting, and I love the name that she came up with, cute, Knit, Purl, and Squirrel.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. But most of my people that I followed were crocheters. So, but to go back and tell you about, I started knitting in 4th grade. I was in 4-H club, and I live in the little town of Faith. And I love to tell people I live in Faith because it's where my spiritual heart is, and it's where I am geographically. But we had a local yarn shop in our wee little town of population 600. Salute. One caution light. It's like Mayberry. You know, got a little diner, a little this, a little that. But we had a little yard store. And the lady that, well, you know, we went there as our 4-H group. And I guess we went several times, but we bought our knitting needles there, our little bit of, and I remember the first skein of yarn I bought, it was Red Heart colorway. I'm not sure if the colorway name changed from back then to now, but it was Mexicali, I think was the name of it, and it's still being made.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's a gross color. Not really. It's just a rainbow of sorts, but with a little spice thrown in, I guess.
Is it like a 70s color?
Yeah, very much. But this was even probably close to, let's see, I'm a 59 model, so it was quite 1970s, maybe 69 or 68. So, but we went to that little shop and the lady was in a wheelchair, and I don't know if that's why she was so grumpy, but she was grumpy and mean. She was mean. Now our 4-H leaders were just nice as they could be, the two ladies. They were really nice, one of which was our little librarian. Even as small as we were, we had a teeny tiny town library, and I loved that place. You'll remember going in there and the smell of the books and all that, which may have something to do why I became a teacher also. But
and you taught for how many years?
Almost 28. I was trying to get to 30. You know, 30 is full pension. So, but because of some crazy problems I went through going through menopause, Mama called it going through the Coliseum. Nobody told me going through that was going to be worse than going through puberty. I lost my ever-loving mind, ended up drinking. I was stressed out because I loved teaching. I loved it. I taught my first 12 years in middle school. My certification was from kindergarten through 9th grade. Thank goodness, because when we first came out of college in the 84s, when I graduated from Little Pfeiffer down the road, which I started at a community college just with the early childhood associate's degree, which I said, what can I do with this? Work in a daycare, which I could have done without this. It was just a year program. But a girlfriend of mine suggested that we both go to it was a college back then. Now it's a university. And David Browning was there at the same time. We did not know each other back then, but we just met a few weeks ago on Ginger Yarn Geeks when she was still doing her morning podcast.
I'll be interviewing him, Granny Dee. He's my next Bedtime Yarn Tales.
Okay. I can't wait to see that. But we were talking about some of the people that we were had friends in common.
Oh my gosh. It's a small world.
Yeah. So I had my credits transferred there, which was really funny because the stuff that transferred was really strange, but it worked in my benefit. And I could have just gone 2 more years and got my teaching degree, but I added a 3rd year to make myself more marketable and add the middle school years, which was great because, like I said, my first job was as an assistant, which happened to every new teacher. We had to wait until a spot opened up. But that wasn't a bad thing. It was good to get the experience. However, the money was horrible. Never in it for the money anyway, but I did get into chapter 1 to help my little tiny paycheck I got. I did some tutoring after school through chapter 1 at a children's home that's in our community. So that's how I got my foot in the door for my first teaching job, was at a middle school through chapter 1. So the first 7 years I worked at a middle school uptown. So it was like city kids, however, city kids here in North Carolina is nothing like, New York or somewhere.
Right.
But they were mighty different. They'd as soon cuss you as love on you.
My first, I think I told you my first job right out of college was working as a juvenile probation and parole officer. So, yeah, so I can
They
understand.
were hormonal and they knew how to push buttons. I tried not to. Lord, deliver me. Let me keep my mouth shut. Just let them. But it was kids raising kids. It was
Right.
grandparents raising kids, and they were just doing as best they could to make ends meet. And it's pitiful what some kids went through, and I had to remember that when they'd kind of get under my skin or try.
Right.
Not that I didn't have some great kids. I did, and worked with some wonderful people in middle school. But I think I started telling you, and I squirreled. I didn't finish my I really wanted to be at the elementary level. That's just where my heart was. And my mother, I think I told you, she worked on, or was talking to my principal. Then I got off into him being my teacher, and that was his second year's principalship. But Mom, every day she'd pick up my girls at school there, and I went to school there myself. Like I said, he was my sixth grade teacher and also principal there. But she'd say, Mr. Shive, don't you have a job for my daughter? Well, fine. She did that for years, and unbeknownst to me. And I had gone to them before, but there just was nothing. But so I just kind of gave up. But Mama persisted. And so finally, one fine day after I'd spent 12 years in the middle school, I call that my tour of duty in Vietnam. I was on the front line, girl. But Mr. Shive called me, and there was no interview. He just said, come on. So I came on.
There you went. And there you went.
I went, and in fourth grade for 15 plus years. And I would have gotten my 30 years had I not gone off the deep end. Left my husband, started drinking. I, did my time, 33 days in rehab. The good Lord got a hold of me and got me out of a horrible, horrible 3-year abusive relationship that I never thought I would be in. I was always a strong woman. Nobody's going to, do that to me and stuff. But
Right.
you know till you're there and you're scared. And I've had people get in touch with me because I don't dwell too much on that. A lot of people don't even know about it. And, but I say just a little bit about it. And others have emailed me and said, because you said blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I want to tell you what I went through. So they feel like they can confide in me, which is great.
You're quite an inspiration, and I love being part of your Squirrel Squad. I love watching your lives, and that group that you have, that core group, seems to be really strong and a great support. Can you tell me a little bit about your Squirrel Squad?
Squirrel Squad that's the best group of people ever, and I know every podcaster thinks that. And we have, some of my subscribers are other people's subscribers too. But I always say, my folks they're the most caring, generous, sharing, and not all of them are praying folks. They know that I am. They know that I'm Christian, but I don't beat them over the head with Jesus. I just try to live my life so that they see Jesus hopefully through me.
Right.
And, there are several that will say, and, we keep a prayer list going.
Mm-hmm.
We've got regulars on our list, and I'm always getting folks that come on the live saying, would you mind praying for this person, that person? And usually it's for somebody else, sometimes for them, but they feel comfortable saying that. And we're like, sure. And I've got this gal on in my group. Her name is Dina, and she didn't used to have her own content on her channel. And I don't know, but I believe that might have had a little, I've just always raved about what a good helper she is to help me keep up with and she is. But, some people just need a little confidence in them to, you know, and I'm always saying, if you're on the fence, or even if you're not, what a blessing it has been for me. It was a blessing before, knowing the people that I knew as a subscriber and following the podcasters I followed, but it's been blessing after blessing after blessing. And I'm not talking about money and super chats and this, that, and the other. That's great too. But I'm talking about people praying for you, just being so nice to you, just working through you and you through them, and just knowing them. And I feel like they're sincerely my friends. And I'm telling them all the time I love them. And I do. And I mean that sincerely. If the Lord didn't love me, and I know that like I do, and I love him, then I couldn't probably say that. And I have told him that before.
I'm going to be sure and put in the discussion, I'll be putting up your link. And I tell you, for those who are not subscribed to you and have not seen your lives, if you're not a Christian person, if you're not a religious person, if you're not a spiritual person, it's okay still to go, because what you're going to get out of it is a lot of laughter, because Granny Dee is so funny and she's so genuine and real. So if you get a chance and you haven't done it already, go ahead and check out the link that we're putting in the description box and go check out Granny Dee, because she's a blessing. Let me just tell you.
Thank you so much.
So what are your goals for your channel for 2021?
I laughed when you asked me that, because one day at a time, I'm by the seat of my pants. But I did mention growth. You know, all podcasters want to keep growing. And like you say, I do have a core group. Most of us do. I have close to 2,500 subscribers, which is it is a blessing to me, and I'm happy for every single one of them, but a whole lot of them have grown a whole lot more than me, but some haven't. And I try not to compare myself to. I'm just happy for and I count every blessing. Every day I wake up, roof over my head, this, that, and the other. But so to continue growing, but I know that I'm going to still have that main core group, and they're so loyal. But you know, I have added a few more, and hopefully they'll be loyal too. And I'm fine with the people that I have right now, but we always do want to grow, and with YouTube, they want, you know, that's
right.
You got to do. But I'm kind of known for it as sort of a joke of, cause I do have adult ADD. I do great at starting projects. However, let me show you. Let's do a little show and tell here.
Well, Granny Dee's getting her show and tell ready. I want to show a couple of pictures that were sent in by viewers. One is from Angela's Crochet Creations. These are her amigurumi stuffies. Those are just gorgeous. The second is from Tina B, and it is a granny ripple pattern made with Simply Soft. I put both Tina and Angela's names into a hat, randomly selected one, and Tina B, you have won the drawing. Congratulations. Just send me your address and I will send you your prize. In addition, I had a third submission from Nana's Crochet Ideas, but I couldn't get that picture to download, so that will definitely be shown. If she resends that to me, I'm going to definitely show that in next week's Bedtime Yarn Tales, which will feature David Browning. Again, congratulations to the winner. Now back to Granny Dee.
I made my own DIY little box last year out of a tea box. It was an Advent tea box that I got from, I don't know, Marshall's, which is like TJ Maxx.
TJ Maxx, yeah.
But 24 days, and I just put some, you know, because it had each day, and, you know, just the numbers, and then it had whatever kind of tea it was on. And these all pull out their little drawers, and I probably can't get one to pull out now.
There you go.
But they're little drawers, and I've just tucked some little mini shapias. Looks like sheep geese. But let me see, it's a Dutch word, and I found out how to say it through some of my Dutch subscribers.
I still say it wrong.
Yeah, it looks like this. And you would never believe that there's 27 yards in these little tiny, and this is 100% mercerized cotton. I know I'm talking fiber. I can't help it.
I love it. Keep going.
I open one of these each day, and I wasn't planning on doing Vlogmas. I will be celebrating my 2-year anniversary May 17th. So I've never done any of the Vlogmas or Vlogtober or any of that, but I thought, well, I'm gonna be opening one of those every day. I can just do that. And I've tried to add to it a Christmas memory, like something from my childhood or just whatever. So each one of these sections is, and this isn't my pattern, but it was a free pattern and one that I could share and link in my channel. And this came about, this wasn't part of the pattern, but the rows of garter stitch, or cause I boo-booed, but then we decided we kind of liked it. So we just put one of those sections in each one. I just decided today that, and somebody had asked me, well, you got 24 of these. I said, I don't want a Doctor Who scarf that's going to be for it. And this will be a gift. So days 1 through 12, this is number 12. This was yesterday. So I'm going to finish up this scarf with this. And this is real easy, by the way. It is knitted. These are my beautiful furls, knitting needles. I'm a furls girl.
A furls girl.
Crochets, but I'm not a snob. I can crochet with whatever. Or knit.
I'm a diehard crocheter. But I want to learn to knit. And I know you have some really good beginner knitting tutorials on your channel. So if anybody wants to learn to knit like I do, that would be a great place for them to go and start learning.
And I also mentioned in those tutorials some other places to go to, like berrypinkknits.com is a good place. I struggle with tutorials with the camera angle. Getting back to that right quick before I forget it. Then days 13 through 24 will be a second scarf. Both of those I hope to gift.
Aww.
And what else are we saying? Oh, in the new year, what I want to do, goals for the channel, it's to finish, to focus. I'm proud of this, that I've been able to
keep going. How many works in progress do you have?
They're countless. I have no idea.
I know I have like 19 right now that I can just see.
I got probably way up in the hundreds, if not five. And now all of them can't be whips. They got to be UFOs,
Well, and let's talk about that for a minute. I was in the car the other day, and I haven't posted it because it's kind of embarrassing, but I was just chatting with the camera, and I was talking about the FOs, finished objects, right? UFOs, which is unfinished objects, right? And then I was talking about the FUFOs.
Oh, I don't know about the FUFOs.
I made that one up. It was my forgotten, unfinished.
Oh. Hey, all my UFOs are forgotten ones.
So
I have wicker trunks that I bought at Michael's. It started with one. Now I think I got like 5. But then I've got all the drawers in my dresser that used to be formerly known as a bedroom dresser when I moved back in the mobile home.
My forgotten, unfinished objects.
They're under my bed in trash bag. Well, a lot of that's yarn. You know, great deals on yarn, 10 for 10. Line brands always getting me. In every closet in my house, there's yarn and projects. Who knows how many knitting needles I have? Now, you know, with crochet, you can take your hook out and use it for another, but with knitting needles, you got to leave that work on there.
Oh, man. I didn't even think of that. Woo!
Yeah. And what I really should do is go through, I mean, it would take months to go through all those. And what I should do is, and here's another reason, though, that I do a lot of the same project. Number one, I love that knitted triangular scarf I do, and I haven't finished but one, I think, out of all the millions, well, maybe not millions, but I call it gazillions
Gazillions.
that I've started. And one I just donated. I never did even wear it. And it was out of ice rock star yarn. It was gorgeous. It was that
Oh,
pink champagne color. But the reason I do that is because I know the pattern. It's in my head. I don't have to go looking for the pattern. It's on the needles. But I do make stitch markers too, and I want to make more. And another thing in this, well, let me stick with this.
a squirrel.
It's because I can, and I love mouse stitch with crochet. But the stitch markers I make for the crochet hooks have the letter of the crochet hook, so I can just hook it on there and know what I'm using. But
Which I think is just a brilliant thing. And you sell those, Granny Dee? Do you sell those?
I
No?
give them happy mails when I do, but I need to start making more. That's another goal, is to do a lot. I've only done a few giveaways and happy mails, so I want to do more of those.
See, I would love those because I have right now. I put my projects in plastic bags and I write on the outside of it. And over time, that doesn't always wear well.
I go through like I'm buying yarn and then I know, well, I've got so much yarn. So let's start buying all the different crochet hooks. Like I love pearls and I do love clovers, and Joe of Dana and Joe, Triple C in the Joe Show, he makes polymer clay hooks. I've started making my own polymer clay handled hooks, but there are things I could sell. Or if I don't want to sell, somebody mentioned the other day, well, what if you, because I struggle with money for postage.
Right.
Said, well, why don't you just offer it for free if you want to do that, and just say if you would cover the postage. They said people would jump on that. So maybe I'll do that.
That's
maybe
pretty cool. Yeah. So your goals are to expand your audience, to finish some objects.
If start less.
Start less. If you're like me, to find those FUFOs, those forgotten unfinished objects. And remind yourself what you
organize. This room is a wreck. See, half the room's okay, and it's a really small room since I live in a mobile home. Oh, and I did want to say that I've come full circle, and I'm back on the home place where I lived. I'm in a mobile home in where I grew up. My brother lives in where we grew up, where my mom and dad bought a house, and they're both gone now, and my brother and I get along famously, but only because I have my own little place out here. He's got his house. If we had to live together, oh no. But we do get along famously. Yeah.
Is he older or younger?
He's 4.5 years older.
Is he your only sibling?
Mm-hmm.
And you have two girls?
I have two girls.
You have two girls?
Well, three. I count my middle child as mine too, even though she's technically ex-step. But I didn't divorce her. I divorced her dad.
There you go. That's
along fine. We really don't see each other, even though he lives here in Faith. But he's got his woman. Men can't be without women. So, but when we do, he'll come. He's been better to the girls since we've been apart, as far as being in their life and coming over and sending money or whatever. He's got a beach place, and he'll invite them to go to the beach house.
Granny Dee, you are just a delight. You are so genuine, authentic, and honest that the audience will know so much about you and feel like you are family when they're done with this interview. And I hope that they go visit you at your place on your channel.
Oh, two things that you did ask me yesterday about what I'm passionate about.
Yes, ma'am.
I do have 2 affiliate links, and that's not just to get money for me. It's not, if I get a few bucks, that's great. But what I love is it gives jobs to impoverished to ladies in impoverished areas of the world. And it also cuts way down on waste. One of which is darn good yarn. I just got my box the other day, so I do get the subscription box. But the subscription box has kind of gotten a bad rap. I know some things are better than others, but some people used to say the yarn smelled bad and this and that. That's all changed. I never did notice anything.
Right.
So I've been with them for 2 years, not an affiliate for that long, but been getting boxes for 2 years. They have great recycled sari silk.
Oh, wow.
These I got, these were add-on. Okay, let me show you.
Those are
first.
beautiful.
They are, aren't they? And then yesterday, I should have worn it today. I had a shirt that I bought. It's or a top. It was made out of recycled sari also. And I'll have to wear it another time. Maybe you'll interview me again one day.
Maybe we'll do it live together.
Okay. This is called, I don't know. It's let me see. It's this is what came in the box, and instead of they usually give us one thing of yarn and then an extra. One time the extra was this wonderful bag. Now this is one of the better extras we got, because sometimes it is just plastic stitch markers, like the little safety pin kind of things, but this is all hand done by these ladies.
Beautiful.
And then it's got the pocket, the zipper pocket there, the zipper pocket here. So this is great for your notions and things, make great gifts. The price on it was $16.99, so that was thrown in.
So if somebody wants to look up darn good yarn, instead of going to Google and doing that, we want them to go to your channel.
Right. I have an affiliate link, and it's always checking the description box. It's in all my lives, the description boxes, and possibly in some of my videos too. And then, so they doubled the yarn this time instead of having an add-on. And these are add-ons. These I bought, and you're always able to do that if you want to. And you're also able to skip months if you want to. So these were $6 a piece, and they would have been $16.
Wow. My daughter got me a subscription before I ever started YouTube to Knit Crate. And she did that for Christmas for me one year. And I'm telling you, those hanks, I never once was able to get it undone successfully to crochet with.
Really?
Would go all over the place.
It for them, but I may be in the future, because that's a great deal. You need a Swift and you need a bow winder if you're going to deal with hanks. But I want to tell you real quick, the other thing that I'm passionate about is Sashka, SASHKA, and I've got that affiliate link also in my description boxes of my video. All of these are like $20 bracelets, but they're always on sale for $5 or less. And I'm always putting up the deals. And Affordably Crafted Kim is great with shouting those deals out too. But it employs impoverished ladies, and I believe that's Nepal. And these are crocheted, hand crocheted, beaded.
They're beautiful.
They're gorgeous. And what a great gift. They all come in those little, what's the little gauzy bags? It's not gauze, it's organza. For gift giving, they're great.
They're beautiful.
So both of those companies have similar missions, and I love being partners with them because of that.
That's amazing. Well, I hope that if someone's interested in them, that they go to your channel, to your links, and do that to as well.
Yeah, they've been great about doing that. And another blessing.
Another blessing.
Others.
Well, let me think. Was there anything I did other than my last question? Is there anything that we didn't cover that we covered the other day when
Girl, you asking the wrong lady. I forget. I thought I was gonna say, did I say this the other day?
you interviewed so beautifully, and it was such a great. I mean, I just can't believe that I lost it. But like you said, there's a reason for
Oh
everything.
yeah, I started out with my scripture. So
I'm going.
I believe the Lord, it was great intervention, and he knew I was upset about that because I didn't want to forget that.
Well, I always say everything happens for a reason and the order it's supposed to happen.
Exactly.
And so here we are again, and this one's recording, and I'm watching it, and I'm checking it for a little bit.
Spend another hour with you.
So last time you did a few shout outs though. You told me a few of the other channels that helped you along, and that do you want to
Affordably Crafty Kim, Michelle Chapin, I don't believe has her own channel, but she's been a great help. She reminded me that I had an affiliate link. Darn. It had been in my description box, but when Kim was the one who brought up the Advent box that was $10 from last year.
Oh wow.
Those aren't available anymore, but a whole lot of people were able to get those. And
that's one thing about in your lives too. People say there's deals here and deals there, and it helps if you're looking for something, or even if you didn't know you were looking for something. There's things that come up that I go, oh wait, I got to go to that link and check it out.
And Seta for setting me on the path to doing this. Do you remember who else?
We talked about Bag O' Day, of course, everybody's favorite.
Oh, Crystal has been an amazing influence. She came to my first couple of, or I know at least maybe the third or fourth video back then, and I could only do like little 15-minute videos. And she told me, I'll never forget, she said, it's good. She commented, just never say you have too much yarn, because I said that, and I do. But now I say, I just don't have enough space for it. But I need to do more giveaways. Then it would be more manageable, which I plan to do this year.
Well,
I love her. What a generous soul she is. And she'll just pop on my lives, and she tells us on her videos or lives or whatever that she's lurking a lot behind. And I tell my other people, I say, listen, she's not only on mine, and she came on one of my other friends.
And Mr. Bod are hilarious together.
I love them.
My favorite was the other day when she was using the knitting machine.
Yeah.
I have not, I jump in and out of her lives here, or not her lives, but her comment on some of her videos. But she was really an inspiration to me when I went back to crocheting several years ago. Her tutorials are wonderful.
Right, because I'm new, even though I've been doing it about a year. We talked about knitting, but I didn't talk about crochet. But because a lot of the people that I followed and then who followed me back were crocheters, I wanted to learn to crochet. So I can follow her. Now, I'm not great with patterns for crochet, but I can follow her tutorials. I made a great witch's hat. Oh my gosh, I love that hat. And my plans were to make one of her elf hats or Santa hats, but
you've still got these to finish.
Yeah, I have to stick with that. I have to put my blinders on and stick with that, but maybe for next year. But I've been wearing I've got some little cutesy hats that I got at Dollar Tree. And I do tell my people Dollar Tree's got some great deals. They sell deals. They sell premier
yarn,
just yarn, and not only just the acrylic. They sell the just cotton, and it's great.
So I'm going to tell you a few of my favorites. Besides you, you're one of them.
Okay.
And of course, Bag O' Day, which I think is probably most people's favorite. And I like Mikey from the Crochet Crowd, and I like some of the bigger ones, but I love to watch Dana from Dana's Wanderlust Crochet.
I
I
love
love
Dana too.
Joe from Joe's Web to watch her.
Yes. Yes.
And I'll tell you who I've been chasing, and she's not gotten back with me, and I'm gonna keep Laura.
Me.
I can't get her.
I tell you what, she's busy on right now. They call her the egg beggar. And if you don't follow Sandy Left is Right, that's another one you should follow. She is hilarious. She makes these crocheted eggs. They just look like eggs on the outside. She does a slip stitch to close them and leaves the string hanging there, I think. And so you just zip them open, and inside's a little amigurumi. She even did a series of she had an amigurumi called Octavia the Octopus. And Octavia drinks heavily. She likes the men folk. And so she's coming when she gets naughty. Then Sandy ends up with all these eggs, and you never know what kind of critter's gonna be inside. What she's mated with.
Well, I'm chasing Mimi's. Let's see if I get this right. Crochet and Farming. So Laura's, because she lives in Alaska, and my sister lived in Alaska for 8 years, and my niece lives in Alaska now, and I never got to visit, but I've always wanted to. So.
Yeah.
She's
hilarious. You'll love her.
I'm chasing her down.
My favorite color is orange, and she says it like that, orange.
I'll have to.
There's a story behind that. I don't believe I've heard that yet. But they're calling her the egg beggar. They have that little accent because Mama Swift is from Boston.
Gotcha.
Are you a member of the Squirrel Squad?
I'm trying. I'm watching. I'm what do you call a lurker?
All you have to do is hit the subscribe button, and that means you're a member.
Well, I'm a subscriber, but I think that means more than that, because loyalty is something you talk about a lot on there. And I don't think I'm able to be there as much as I'd like and to go raiding with you.
You're working also, aren't you?
Yeah, I work, and then I listen to you on my way home, and then you guys go squirrel.
You did this, you're in like Flynn.
Then y'all squirrel raid to somebody else's channel to help out there, and I think
people who can do, and I understand if other people can't.
So for my subscribers who aren't subscribed to you, to be a member of the Squirrel Squad, they just have to subscribe. Is that right?
It doesn't cost them anything. It just means they're a subscriber.
So, well, I have hit that red button for you.
I hope they'll come to the chats or watch some videos or what. I need to do more videos. I've got a diamond painting on my table that I need to get to that one of my subscribers gave me. It's a beautiful big old squirrel with red shoes and a pocketbook and a red scarf, and I can't wait to get it done. But to get it done, I got to work on it.
So I heard you say to be a member, all you have to do is subscribe, and I'm subscribed, so you can call me a Squirrel Squad member.
Yes.
But yes. I think you talk a lot about loyalty and faith, and that's not just faith in God. That's faith in humanity, faith in your fellow man. So there's a lot of things, little grains of wisdom that come through along with your stories and your wonderful accent. And
I do have lots of funny stories. I did mention the other day about if you weren't with me when I first started, please go back and look at my old videos. When I first started, they're a mess, but they're funny because I had funny family stories to share. There's one about my dad swallowing part of my mother's tooth. He thought it was something else. But I'm going to tell you more about it. And I can't tell you which video it is because I'm not sure. I don't think I told you this, but when I first was able to go live on my phone, which means I had 1,000 subscribers, we heard something scratching around in one of my cabinets in the kitchen, and I thought it was a mouse or something. Turned out to be a baby possum.
Ooh.
Now, be warned, and I think I put a warning on there, Granny did curse. which
Naughty
I
Granny.
rarely ever do. But
So
I did put a disclaimer on that one, but it is funny. You can see the little baby possum in there and the wildlife lady that came and tried to catch him.
well, I was very blessed, very lucky to have you on my first and only live that I've done with the Elfing Exchange.
That was so much fun.
So you and the Squirrel Squad came over and was supportive of that. And I was so nervous, and you guys kept the conversation going and helped me get through it. And so I want to thank you.
Oh, and you didn't look nervous, not one bit. And I asked you about it, and you said you're too busy to be nervous. And I was so glad that your husband was so supportive.
He is. He's very supportive.
And one more video that's fun. There's lots of funny things in there about my mom, the way she talked. She would say, you know, most moms would say, get up, brush your teeth, comb your hair, put on your dress. Mom said, get up, comb your locks, and put on your frock. And that's just the way we talk.
We talked the other day about your mom and mine having words that they made up. Mine always says instead of reaching for something, she retch for it.
Yeah. And Mama said, throw up. This is throwing up. Did you throw up at him, or did he throw back up at you? And this is what I always end my podcast with. And these are words of moms. Be sweet. Don't be ugly.
Absolutely. So my last question to you before we sign off is the one that I ask every guest. And I always preface it to say, I'll tell you mine, you tell me yours. I ask the question, if you could be any handmade item anywhere in the world, what and where would you be? And I always say I would be a granny square blanket thrown over the Graham Norton show couch. But unfortunately, Graham Norton doesn't have that couch anymore.
I have to write that down because I was going to check that out. Did you say Gran or Graham?
Graham Norton. He is a British. The BBC has his videos. You can see him on YouTube. He's like the British Johnny Carson, sorta, but he's a little bit naughtier than that. But he always has such wonderful guests, and seeing Tom Hanks on there and some of the things he says and does, and some of the different stars, it's always fun. I would love to be thrown over that couch and absorb that. Now with COVID, you don't have the couch anymore.
Right.
But so tell me, Miss Granny Dee, what and where would you be?
But nobody knows but you.
I want to try to keep a straight face.
John Connery. Now I know he's recently passed, but when I was a little girl, my imaginary playmate was Bond, James Bond. John Connery, I was in love with him, from Thunderball to all the things. My dad used to take my brother and I to the picture show to see. Dad loved the Bond movies, and I was so mad that I had to go that first time. I wanted to see some little cartoony thing probably. But I fell in love with him. I was one of the Bond girls. He just never knew it. And so I would love to be his special own personal. I said knitted the other day, but knitted or crocheted washcloth.
Because I know you just want to
pretending that he were still here. And still as gorgeous as he used to be back in the 60s and 70s.
That's a good one. That is a good one. If
and
you have
that Scottish accent. And I was lucky enough to go to England twice and go to Scotland once. I'd love to go to Ireland. I'm sure I'm meant to be living over there.
Well, Granny Dee, we're running out of time and they're going to cut us off, and we want to make sure we get this recording. So I will let you know when I'm going to put this out for public view after I do a little bit of editing and add a few things in and here and there. But as always, you have a good night.
Thank you, darling. God bless. I love you.